Wait, I need to do this whole thing again? No. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you aren't interested in the mixing process and how I did everything, just make sure that you're on a stereo system and click to this timestamp below where is the unmixed version and the mixed version. And for you who wanna see it, let's get straight into it. Don't worry, I don't need to do the whole mixing again, but I have to record this whole video again. But for you guys, I'm gonna record it again. There's a lot of automations, panning automations, volume automations, EQ automations, and I think that's all of them. But in the EQ there are two, like the frequency and the gain, and also there is reverb automation. So first up, let's discuss the biggest problem I've had over here, and that was the lows getting so muddy. Now I'll show you how it sounded before. And now, how it sounds after. So there's a huge difference. As you can see, this rhythm guitar had so much lows in them, it was disgusting. It was absolutely horrible. Not disgusting like in a, yeah, that's great, but disgusting in a way that it sounded absolutely awful. And combined with the kick and bass getting muddy, the lows were awful. So this is the bass and this is the rhythm guitar. So in the kick drum I boosted around 60 Hz, which is where I already go down in the bass. And in the bass I boosted around 110 Hz, and that's where I did a small cut in the kick, and this really helped. Also what I did is I took off 5000 Hz in the bass, put it onto the kick drum, and over here at 1000 or 2000 Hz I cut in the kick drum and boosted in the bass, and this was like huge and did most of the problems went away, but the guitar still needed some fix. So around 150 Hz I found that the really annoying frequency was sitting at, and so I did a small cut, just 2 decibels, and it went away. And around 100 Hz is a high pass filter, and then this just a low pass. So that's for the biggest problem. Anyways, I'm really sorry for my voice today. It sounds absolutely awful because I've been sick for the last week, or no, not a week, half a week, like 4 or 5 days, something like that. So I'm sorry about my voice. And let's get to the lead guitar after Cubase unfreezes. I thought this was over.
1 hour later.
Yeah, it's loaded. So over here is the lead guitar, and I have a less panned and a stronger panned version. And why is that? Well, because over here the lead guitar can be heard clearly with a less panned version, and over here the less panned version didn't work. So I panned it stronger to 1 speaker more, and then the synth and the lead guitar is a lot better separated, because like 75% of the lead guitar comes from this speaker and 75% of the synth comes from this speaker, and that really makes it separated. So try and listen for that when you'll hear the mix. So another technical issue, my camera just said something about an issue with writing on the memory card. I don't know why, but I fixed it, and let's get back to the EQ. So, last thing about the instruments, then we'll get to the sound effects. This rhythm lo-fi has 4 automation tracks, and it sounds like this. And I really love this automation because over here I have a high shelf frequency, so I'm playing around with the frequencies. Over here, just a volume thing. Over here I have the gain of this frequency, so it does like, it has a lot of dynamics, like a lot. And over here is spanning from left to the right, and I really love this thing. Also, it's the full riff, not like in the non-mixed version, where I just had some passages of the guitar on and off. Yeah, it's a lot better this way. So 4 automation tracks combined to this rhythm lo-fi. Just one thing before we get into it, I have panning on almost everything apart from the kick drum, snare, bass, and this synth. This first one is panned because, like, really the panning of, not an automation of panning, but having some sound more in one speaker than in the other, and vice versa with a thing that's frequency based on the same level, is just so beneficial for the mix. And I really love this thing. Not only automations of panning, but also panning more to one speaker than to the other, and vice versa with a on the same frequency level instrument is just amazing. Let's get to the sound effects. Let's start with this, which is the waterfall. It has some mild EQs, again, just a high pass and a low pass. Then we have this deer eating, on which is reverb, and this EQ. I think that it was just so low based and it didn't sound that great in the whole mix. Over here is the deer just doing its thing, and I boosted around over here, which I found was the foundational frequency, kind of the sound that I liked. And again, low pass and a high pass. Over here in the birds, I didn't put an effect. Yeah, I put an effect, and it's like a heavy high pass and some low pass too, and I found that 3000 Hz was kind of the main frequency the birds were doing. And in the birds I also have some panning. These other sound effects do have some automations already. I have no panning automations in this first part, but over here we start to have some panning automations. It's mainly due to the fact that the story has proceeded to a whole another level, and we somehow needed to make it more refined. The panning automation I love the most is over here with the wolves, which is just the howling, but going from one speaker to the other, and in the opposite way of the horse eating, kind of closer to each other and then again further apart from each other, so there's some movement on the scene. And in this, the running, it's just from one side to the other. You really like feel and hear the movement on the scene. Over here, it's from one side to the other and then from the side to the other, and it's because the deer is kind of lost, not knowing where to go because a bear and a wolf. And then we get to the riff, there are no sound effects, and then to the breakdown where there are sound effects, and the deer is just running in one direction, but it just cannot be as fast as a bear and wolves, and so they catch up and it falls to the ground. That's the end of the story, and now let's hear the unmixed part, and then after that we'll hear the mixed part. Really, try and listen on a stereo system and compare the versions for yourself, and try and hear what sounds different to you. Maybe you will find something that gets into your ear and really like pisses you off, and make sure to tell me that in the comment section down below. With this out of the way, let's hear it. Now make sure to watch this video, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.